One of the things I think that Ezra Klein reveals about liberal American thinking is that white people didn't realize that they had to make a choice. They had to make a choice between upholding the capitalist interests of the United States and choosing people, like just regular people, working class people, people who every single day work to just put food on the table and keep a roof over their head. And for so long, particularly in this modern era, the Democrats have acted as though they can have both when they cannot. Because business and capital interests have continuously required them to flop on the very things that people need. And they forget that corporations, despite Citizens United, really only vote once. Billionaires vote once, but the people that you're actually trying to appeal to, that's millions of people. And so many white liberals like him believe that they can cloak themselves in their liberal identity and believe that they are for human rights and are for this human interest and are for everyday people, when the majority of Americans are telling the thinkers of that party that they already see that they've made the choice. They want a business and capitalism with a side of human rights rather than looking at things and saying, hey, maybe if I actually start capitulating to people over corporations, we wouldn't have problems like this. And so when I think of his comments about CK and like his unaliving, it makes perfect sense when you think about people who go into the office every single day and don't really know the person that they're working next to. They're just like, we just got to get the job done. I'm just doing this one little part about it. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm just me, myself, and I, and this is what I'm trying to uphold. When it doesn't work that way, like you're contributing regardless to that person. You're contributing to that person's ability to have a platform. You're trying to meet them in the middle when they would never meet you in the middle to get the quote unquote job done, but you're not asking yourself what the job actually is. And it's the same with a lot of these podcasters and debaters. They think that the job is to meet in the middle and kind of come up with this consensus. But 9 times out of 10, it's two white guys arguing over whether or not black and brown people should have rights. Right? With the more liberal of the two, generally speaking, not even realizing that they agree on the very fundamental premise that those things are up for debate in the first place. And so, of course, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to veer more left and veer more into their own ideas of what humanity and what people actually need. And they're going to be so much more concrete in it and so much more difficult to move and compromise with because they see what compromise has gotten them, and it's never gotten them the things that they need to survive. And then you're going to get the people that are liberal that go further right because they feel like as long as I give the party what they need, they'll give me what I need, which has never been the case. And so that's where you're kind of seeing that stratification come from currently. Because you can watch it happen on this app. And it's the greatest schism the Democratic Party is probably going to face in the next century.
Look, I have, just in terms of bridging gaps and everything, I have a basic level of respect that I accord to everybody. You know what I mean? I want to say what I have to say. I don't want to shrink back from it. At the same time, I recognize that part of my audience, and I would say an important part of my audience, is people who have never enjoyed that respect. You know what I mean? People who, in fact, are subjects of the kind of hate that Charlie Kirk was harvesting. And I can't ever, A, contribute to making them feel like they've been abandoned. And B, I can't ever stand by and watch somebody do that. And in the name of unity or whatever, act like that's not happening. Because there are real consequences. And so it's like, when I read his words towards trans people, Jesus. When I read, you know what I mean, the language towards Haitians specifically, which was very, very, Haitians will become your masters if you don't elect Trump. I mean, this is very, very familiar to me. You know, it's this idea of Haitians coming into the country or immigrants raping your daughters. I mean, this was really, really, really dark stuff. And I'm all for unifying. I'm all for bridging gaps, but not at the expense of my neighbor's humanity. I just can't.
I think the thing we go to there, right? Not at the expense of my neighbor's humanity. Because I've gotten a lot of that in email, right? Like, how am I supposed to talk to these people? How am I supposed to deal with these people who are denying my humanity? I think that in losing as badly as we have imperiled trans people terribly.
Yes.
Politics is for power.
Joe Biden did that.
Politics is for power. And so I think that the question I am just genuinely struggling with isn't how to have like a great kumbaya moment. But I think it is taking seriously that something we're doing is not working. I mean, I had Sarah McBride, who's the first trans member of Congress on the show. And, you know, we were talking about every single survey you can offer on like trans rights has gone in the wrong direction the past couple of years, right? We've just begun to lose that argument terribly. And that has put people in real danger.